Hello and welcome to Lean Angle Productions' presentation of Amatuer Sportbike Race 2 from the Super Series in Shannonville Motorsport Park, brought to you here by Snow City Cycle, Hindle, Brooklyn Cycle Racing, DP Brakes, Kite by Eurorace, RacePhotos.ca, NFD Autobody. So Zion LaFlamme lines up along pole with Baudouin and Scott Zolis, waiting for the start, and we are racing from Shannonville Motorsport Park. A pop-up on a wheelie by Matt Hooper, as it's going to be Vinnie Wilson getting the whole shot down through turn number 1. Zion LaFlamme close in second on the 777 Barbie Racing Suspension Triumph, and now looking back from the motorcycle of Daniel Johnson. An excellent start for the novice rider that was only for a few short races ago, was up in the novice class, fighting for wins with Matt Hooper. And there is Matt Hooper, the aforementioned novice class standout. He wrecked the bike here on Friday, ironically enough, going through that exact same corner. And for Hooper, he spent hours and hours rebuilding that bike, and now he's up in the 4th spot. So Vincent Wilson, the local CSBK standout out of Moncton, New Brunswick, taking the 262 bike that he got from Bill Watkins, out for a stroll at the front of his field, trying to hold off two incredibly talented riders, that being Baudouin and LaFlamme. So looking back here, out of the back of bike of Dan Johnson, going through on the first of 6 laps here from this 4.03 kilometer layout in Shannonville Motorsport Park. A little wiggle by the rider up in front. I believe that is the 5th place rider there of Scott Zolis. So you look around through turn 10, up down the long Fabby super stretch, and it is still a hard push for those bikes. You see them moving down. It is a hard moment there. The braking zones are really hard to miss, and you see right there is the turnoff point. So Vinnie Wilson, Zion LaFlamme, and a little bit farther back, the kink is 46. So right now it is Vinnie Wilson, Zion LaFlamme, Baudouin, Hooper, and Zolis make up the top 5, as we move through Allen's Corner to complete lap number 1. So you see the riders start cycling through. There's Albert Duguay down there in the 112 in the 6th spot, so just outside the top 10 for that rider. And with riding on board here with Scott Zolis now up through turns 2 and 3, and those are 2 of the hardest passing zones on this track. They are one of the only times on the long track where you are turning probably a double right, but it moves right into turn number 4, and turn 4, arguably one of the hardest corners on this track to master. I have colloquially known it as the collarbone cracker, and that's because many riders, from Tommy Cassis all the way down to guys like Martin Perot, Kayla Hannaford at the regional level, have been caught out by turn 4 and have ended up missing a large majority of the season. So you take a look at the lean from Scott Zolis as he makes his way up to the complex of 7 and 8 towards the double apex in behind the Trees of Destiny. And for Scott Zolis, we talked about him last year. He had an absolutely astonishing season, ripping off wins in both Amateur Sport and Amateur Superbike. And for the number 10 machine, we call him Big Papa. He has really been an outstanding rider since some of those current guys like Cam Matsumoto, Jordan DeCary, and Wes Barnes decided to go up to the pro level competition. So you'll watch him thunder down the long Fabby super stretch, pulling off the brake just a little bit as he moves through the turn 11 cutoff. So down towards the more technical aspect of the course, this is the kink down towards Allen's Corner, an extremely fast little right-left section before you go back onto the left-hander into Allen's up on the front straightaway. So we'll pick back up on the race leaders. It is still Vinnie Wilson, Zion LaFlamme, Alexi Baudouin, Matt Hooper as they thunder across the line. A move here possibly by Zion LaFlamme as he looks down below the 262 of Wilson, but I believe Wilson will cut him off and continue up into the race lead. Vincent Wilson, we spoke about this a bit earlier, and for Vinnie Wilson, using this race as an opportunity to get some time behind the wheel, I guess you should say the proverbial wheel, before he heads off to Mosport next week, and that will be for the CSBK round number 4, I believe. approximately round, I think it might be round 5. It's a 6-round calendar now this year, as back on board with Scott Zolas up for the interior part of the course. You know, Motorsport is a much different track than what we're experiencing in Shannonville. Shannonville, a lot more technical, a lot more compact, and for the fans, a bit of a better viewing experience as they're able to see about 90% of the racetrack from the grandstands. Motorsport, a lot hillier, a lot faster, and for guys like some of our local regional riders, Eli DeCash being one of them, it is a tough track to master. Even if you are a 25, 30-year veteran of racing motorcycles, Shannonville can catch you out just as well as Motorsport can too. So back up onto the back straightaway now here on lap number 3. In behind the number 28 of Matt Hooper goes Scott Zolas, and you see him behind. He doesn't have much competition. He is the last bike in that kind of 5-bike chain. Picking up a couple guys. There's Doug Voles in the 119. Making his way onto the back stretch, just behind him is Salsa Jim on the 7. So back picking it up now, the leaders through Allen's Corner, up onto the front straightaway behind the Pirelli billboard. And up onto the front straightaway they go. It is still Vincent Wilson that is leading the charge over Zayam Laflamme and Alexis Beaudoin. Alexis Beaudoin, the class points leader in the Amatuer Sportbike category. He has looked phenomenal since coming back from injury last year, and if you weren't here, he astonishingly snapped, I believe it was his pelvis in a pretty gnarly accident, and the bike bucked him off coming out of the final corner. So you look at now, Matt Hooper has started to gain up on the front 3, which includes the 262 and the 777. There is Catherine McKenzie on the 636 Gixxer 600, just ahead of Claude St. Laurent on the number 881. And for Catherine McKenzie, she really turned heads last season, being the first female winner of the novice class under the brand new Bondar administration. And she took a couple races off before coming back to Shannonville in the amateur 600 category. So some great female talent to see on board some of these bikes. And we take a look now through the complex of 8, 9, and 10 goes Scott Zolas, and he will try to hunt down the back of this draft. It looks like he is starting to catch up to the back of Matt Hooper, as given the fact that the 262 is a bit slower than the rest of the field, it has started to ease him back. So I can't imagine that anyone else is going to be able to catch up to Zolas, but picking it back with Catherine McKenzie, she's trying to hold off a pretty hard charging Claude St. Laurent, but also seeing if she can catch up to a big group ahead. So through Allens goes Wilson, up onto the gas through the apex of the final corner here on this layout, looking once again underneath is Laflamme, and he always tries to see if he can chop a nose down a bit in there. Someone told me that watching Zayam Laflamme race is kind of like watching a tarantula ride a golf ball. He is a very, very tall kid, and it looks like he's going to try for the lead again, and the way he leans off that bike, it makes the bike look so small under Zayam, but whatever he does, it really does work for that Barbie Racing Suspension Triumph team, and his first kind of half season, if you will, on the back of a 600 motorcycle coming from the 400cc lightweight category. And now you look at Alexis Beaudoin. Because the 262 has been going kind of off the pace while in the lead, Laflamme has backed up to the back of the 46. So right on board with Scott Zolas once more here, the lean angle number 10. He makes his way through the complex here of turn 8, trying to hunt down and pass Matt Hooper. Matt Hooper made history a few races ago by winning his amateur 600 debut, which is something that has not been done in quite a long time. I believe the last time somebody came from novice and won their first race on the same day was Ryan Dunwoody. He won the amateur superbike division, I believe in 2022, maybe 2023. We'll double check that as well. But now you see Scott Zolas, he has caught up to the back of Matthew Hooper on the 28. That old Mackenzie wheel Yamaha, and it is sporting a nice Dawson McLaughlin zip tie job, as you see, double there, and oh my goodness, what a save by Matt Hooper as he got a lot of loose underneath Scott Zolas and somehow didn't crash into him. I mean, 1 lap to go here from Shannonville. Matt Hooper, call him Holy Crap Hooper, and that's because a lot of the times, whether it be good or bad, he's doing stuff that makes you say holy crap, and what a save by that young man. So back now, 1 lap to go. It is still Wilson at the front of the field. Zion Laflamme in position number 2, and the 46 back there in 3rd. And now Scott Zolas in position number 4. So Zolas trying to see if he can possibly reel in the rider up ahead. So Zolas in for the carousel. In behind Hooper, there's Mackenzie and Laurent. They're having themselves a nice little drag race down the front straightaway. You see now, down the short chute goes Laurent and the 636, but back on board with Dan Johnson now. He is in behind Matthew Hooper. So after Hooper's off-track excursion, we now see a change of the guard up at the front of the field. It has been Laflamme and the 46 that have gone by Vincent Wilson. Oh, heartbreaking for that young man out of Moncton, New Brunswick. But back on board with Dan Johnson now is going to see if he can possibly sneak his way into the top 5. Johnson has been running steadily in the top 5, top 6. Those two were both novice class standouts, as now we see maybe one last push here from the 46 through the kink down towards Allen's corner now. Beaudoin's going to try him up, size him up down the inside. The 777 will hold on as in through the final couple of corners up to the checkered flag. It's going to be Zion Laflamme, the Barbie Racing Suspension Triumph. He takes the race win. The 262 comes home in 3rd with Beaudoin in 2nd and Zolas in 4th. And now up to the front of the line here for the 5th spot. Johnson down the inside. It's going to be a drag race coming to the line. I think it might have been Johnson. We'll have to double check that. In the replay, but a photo finish coming to the line between Johnson and Hooper. And now here is your results as Laflamme, Beaudoin, Wilson, and Zolas, Hooper, Johnson, Perreault, and Duguay, Saint-Germain, Mackenzie, Laurent, and Voles, Vaux, Campbell, Quinton, and Grant Moe. So once more, we'd like to thank the sponsors, linangle.ca, snowcitycycle.com, Hindle, Feel More Power, Brooklyn Cycle Racing, DP Brakes, Kite by Eurorace, and racephotos.ca, NFD Autobody,